Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a great one from Van Halen today. This one's a lot of fun to play, by the way. We're going to learn how to do House of Pain off of 1984. So this is kind of the last actual guitar song off of 1984. I got I'll Wait. I think I still got to do figure out what to do there. But anyway, for most of 1984, we are finishing here with House of Pain, and this is a great one to end it with. It's just got some really cool riffs in it, some crazy guitar solos, of course. So we're gonna go through the whole thing, kind of note for note. Hopefully you'll hang out for the entire time. It's going to be a long one. Before I get into it though, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so you know when I release a new video. You know, like and comment. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm wars. But anyway, if you guys really want to support what I do on here on YouTube, you know, joining my Guitar Academy is the best way to do it. You're going to see a link to that in the description below. It's kind of my online guitar school. It contains all of my guitar courses, covering everything from beginner courses to more advanced courses on technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, and guitar tones. You get full access to all the courses just with one membership. And you get a free 7-day trial by clicking the link in the description. So please come over there. I also go live every week for Academy members, like a little live video chat, and you get personalized support from me. So it's a lot of fun. So I hope to see you there. So we are in standard tuning, which, you know, there's a lot on the 1984 album. Some songs that are in standard tuning. So nothing, no tuning down here as per usual with Van Halen of the David Lee Roth there at least. So we're gonna start with this intro. So we're gonna start here. It starts just kind of a double stop at the first fret of the D and the G together at the first fret. Slide it up to the second fret. And then you're going to come up here to the 5th fret. You could do it with all one finger if you want, but I kind of works for me just not to move around quite as much. So I'm kind of just using my index and ring finger. So I'm sliding up here, and he kind of catches the same chords here at the 5th fret. But as he starts playing, he starts incorporating, you start hearing the full major triad there from this C to this B. So you're basically holding across from the D all the way to the B string. So we have this. And then back to here. Slide 1 to 2 again, and then 5 to 4 again. You kind of hold that a little bit, and then you play the 2nd fret there on the A major chord there at the, so we have this. All right, and then we have, so it's kind of better to play this in tempo. So there's a kind of 3 muted hits there. And then it starts over with a slide from 1 to 2, and then the 5 to 4 chord. And there's some more muted hits, and then you hit that A chord again at the end. So we have this. Then you kind of repeat the riff the same way. Except at the very end, instead of going kind of some muted hits, it goes kind of just a slide down the low E string. So all together for the intro, we have this. All right, and then we get to what I think is really just kind of the main riff of the song, kind of makes up the chorus as well, and it's just a lot of fun to play too. It sounds like this. All right, so this is gonna start with the open low E string, and hammer on to the 2nd fret. Then you just kind of this is just some like kind of standard 8th note feel. So alternate pick it. You can, if you want to do all downstrokes, you want to turn Eddie into Hetfield, but. So then, if you go from there over to the A power chord, then you hit the open A string twice, just a quick little down up, and then play 3, 4 on the A string, and you're gonna get a little pinch harmonic in there. Well, no, a lot of vibrato. So this, and then go back to the hammer on 0 to 2 on the low E. Just kind of chugging on that. It's really kind of palm muted. And then it goes to a G power chord. So this is just 3rd fret on the low E, mute that A string with the bottom of that finger, and then the open D and G, 3rd fret on the B. You can hit the 3rd fret on the high E too, but he's really kind of, when he hits that chord, he's kind of hanging on the lower strings a little bit. So with this. Then we start the riff over again. And then we have our first fill here, which is this. So he's gonna be bending at the 4th fret on the G string, up a whole step. And he's gonna tap the 9th fret on the G, and then the 7th fret. And then real quick, 12th fret to 11th fret. So this. All right, so that comes out of the. And then back to the riff. And then we had this ending on the riff. So that starts with that hammer on. Then you hit the 2 like a couple times. And then pick it again, slide down the 1st fret. Hit it a couple times. And then pull off to the open string. So with this. So with this. After you hit the open E like twice, you go to the open A string, then play the 5th fret, and then pull off 4 to 0. So with this. You're gonna end it there with a B power chord. I really like to play it. So altogether for that, really it's kind of the first main riff section with this. All right, here, we get to the verse section here. Verse is really fun to play. So we're gonna start here with that B power chord, and then we have this for the verse. A lot of fun. All right, so so you start with that B power chord, and then you go to kind of a pick scrape, and then we go into this. So that's going to start here with this 7th fret on the D and the G, and then you keep the 7th fret on the D and play the 6th fret on the G. So it's just a couple double stops, which kind of implies an A sus to to just resolving to an A major, which he does a lot. Then you're gonna just kind of eighth note feel, kind of muted open A string. Then we're gonna take a major chord shape here, starting with a D major, across the 7th fret of the D, G, and the B. Slide it up to the E major chord, same shape, just 2 frets higher, and then slide it up to the 10th fret, and then up to 11. So you want to keep that shape in your hand, because when he jumps back here, you're gonna jump back here and just kind of play it basically as a B minor 7 chord. So you hear him kind of hit the, he doesn't have a strict pattern that he does here, but he goes. So you want to grab this, basically come back and grab this. You're gonna hit that D triad, but then when you add this B in the bass, it becomes a B minor 7 chord. So, kind of like that. Now, on that B chord, sometimes he'll go and kind of hit it a couple more times and then jump into it. And sometimes he'll just hold it. And then go back to those double stops, kind of start over. So it's basically like this. So. So after done like 3 times, you're just gonna, instead of going back to this, you go, goes back to this E major chord. So it's the open E, and the 7th fret there on the A, and then you're borrowing the 9th fret on the D, G, and the B. So all together. So after we get to that E, we have this. A lot of fun. All right, so we're going to be playing the double stop across the 9th fret of the G and the B. Pull off to the 7s on the G and the B. Over to the 9th fret there on the D, and then back to those double stops there at the 7th fret on the G and the B. So it starts with that, and then we have a. So after you've done that, it's kind of a group of 4 there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're gonna do a group of 6, and we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do that same pull off from the 9 double stops to the 7 double stops, over to the 9 on the D string. So that's the first half of the group of 6, the first 3. And then you're gonna go back to those 7 double stops across the G and the B. And then pull off 9 to 7 on the D. So those make up the second half of the group of 6. So we have this. So group of 4, then a group of 6. Then take that down to the the 2nd fret. So you're gonna be pulling off. So it's kind of like he's doing the group of 6 again, but he adds a little, a couple extra notes at the very end. So we start with basically doing this, right? But we're doing it here at the 2nd fret. So do that first, even though that's not exactly what he's doing, but just so you'll kind of recognize this. Basically what he does here, the first half of the group of 6, so you're doing that pull off from the 4s to the 2s, over to 4 on the D, then grab the double stops at the 2nd fret of the G and the B again. Then here on the D string, here's where instead of just going 4 to 2, he goes, kind of leading us back into the main riff. So, which I'll mix up the chorus. So you're basically going. So So those 2 double stops there, and then 4, pull off to 3, pull off to 2, pull off to the open D. And then it goes into the riff from there. So we have this. A little slower. All right, so that is basically the main riff here that it goes into is the chorus, really. They don't say it much. All right, so from there it goes back into the same main riff with no kind of fills happening this time. It just goes, puts that ending on, goes right back into the verse, and the verse is kind of the same as before. So we get back to the chorus riff again, and here we have a quick little fill before the first solo happens. So when we get to that kind of the main riff / chorus out of that second verse, then it goes into the solo. So that's just basically when you get to that part. He's just doing some bends at the 4th fret on the G and release, and pulling off to the 2. And obviously adding some whammy bar dives in there. Kind of an Eddie signature there. And then we get to the first solo. So let me play through the solo for you real quick, and then I'll show you kind of what's going on there. So here we go. All right, so what he's doing here, he's gonna start with this. All right, so I realize there's some chords underneath this solo too, but I'm not really gonna cover those because, those are just, who's gonna do that live? It's a 1-guitar band, so we're just gonna stick with the solo. So we have this. So that's gonna start here at the 9th fret here. On the low E string, then 11 on the A, and then 13 on the D, then shift that up to 14. So this. Then we're gonna go over to the 13th fret on the G string, and then big bend there, bend and release. It's a 1.5 bend. So it's a 3 half steps. And release back down. So we have. All right, now we get to this. Now, so he's kind of doing 4, just kind of hammering on, pick 4, hammer 5, 7, and then. And just kind of a little bit of whammy bar dips while he's kind of doing a little bit of legato across those notes. Kind of pulling off through them and back up. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna slide up to 9 and pull off to 5 at the very end. So take that opportunity when you just pulled off there and to release the bar and come over here and you're gonna tap here at the 10th fret there on the B string. And then you're gonna do a kind of, now there's no exact pattern that he's doing there. You kind of just, you don't hear it very well. You can begin to hear what he's doing, and then it just kind of gets lost in the mix a little bit. But here, what's going on, we're tapping the 10th fret, and then you're gonna pull off to 5, pull off to 3, pull off to 2. and then you can just play tap 9 on the G string, pull off to 4, 2, 0. Actually, just 4 and 2, and then the same thing on the D. Tap 9, pull off 4 to 2, and then the same thing on the A. So we have this. So it's kind of something like that. At the very end of the solo, you can repeat these notes at first. Kind of go down, then back up. Kind of this. If you've done Eddie's type of tapping licks, you know kind of what's going on. And then just kind of go across the strings real quick at the end. And then it gets us to those power chords. So that's just going chromatic. We're going to start at the 2nd fret, the B power chord, off the A string. And then just go up 1 fret at a time until it gets to the 10th fret. And then we have this quick little rhythm comes in. And it happens like 6 times. So that pattern is just a downstroke and a quick down up. And then you kind of just let that last note ring us for a quick second and then mute it. So down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And it happens 6 times. And then we get into the 2nd solo. So there's gonna be some licks in this solo, and especially with a lot of the pinch harmonics, it's gonna be kind of hard to get exactly like. It's pretty much impossible to get exactly like he played it on this recording, you know, just kind of the nature of some of these notes. It's kind of just hard to completely recreate, but we can get pretty close to it. So let me play through it for you real quick, and then I'll show you how to play it note for note. All right, so a lot of crazy stuff going on there. So we're gonna start with these, kind of a harmonic at the 7th fret there on the G string. And then you're gonna do a pinch harmonic off the 5th fret there on the B string. So you gotta find this. Eddie always found the most incredible sounding harmonics. You do the whole step bend in, and then you bend up like 2 whole steps. Basically pick that note again with another, you know, same kind of pinch harmonic, you're just bending it up 2 whole steps instead of 1. And then we get to this. So you're gonna start here at the 5th fret, and then you just take your the index finger, wherever of your pick hand, do a slide tap, and then release that note, and you're now at the 8th fret there on the B string. So we have this. So, and then we slide up again, and then what we're gonna do is this. Kind of slides to nothing, right? And what you're gonna do is come back here and tap the 17th fret there on the B string, pull off to 12, hammer on 15, and then tap 17. So tapping 17 on the B, pull off to 12, hammer 15. Then you're gonna tap 17 on the high E, pull off to 12, then hammer 15 on that. So it's the same thing on each string. From there, though, you're gonna tap 17 again, pull off to the 15, pull off to 14, pull off to 12. Come over here to the 14th fret there on the B string, so hammer on there. And then you're gonna tap 17. And when you tap 17, you're gonna slide it up and then move your finger up to replace that note. So we're gonna, and then pull off to 15. So, with this. So from here. All right, and now we have this legato lick, which is gonna be hard to kind of do exactly like he would. I mean, not a lot of videos have been playing this, and they literally were, this is like on the original 1984 tour, and so obviously we're not dealing with 4K cell phone cameras. It also looked like it was filmed from the moon. So it's really hard to see what's going on whenever he actually does the solo, but the recording is. So we got this like crazy legato lick. So this is kind of, you're gonna be kind of approximating it, let's just say that. So we can start with the same notes, and then it goes. So it's kind of better just kind of approach it like that. It's probably how he's approaching it anyway. So we have this play 10, hammer to 12, hammer to 14. And then on the B string. Then the same thing on the high E. Then pull back off to 12, back off to 10, slide down to 8. So I'm doing mostly 3 notes per string stuff. I'm just kind of taking you through the notes real quick. So it gets down to this note, which I know is not completely in the key. But then 12, 10, 8. On the B, 11, 9, 7 on the G. So we kind of start with those, just kind of get through the notes real quick. Slide down to 6, and then you're gonna kind of go back up, 7, 9, then back down to the 6. All right, then just kind of go through 9, 7, 6 on the D. So I'm just kind of get the notes on each string down first. So and then we're gonna go 9, 7, 5 on the A. Slide down to 4. And he's gonna end this in some series of slow bends from 5, whole step bends with the 5th fret on the kind of bending from that D up to the E. So now, so it's just those notes. So it's just kind of really kind of doing whatever you want legato-wise. That's all I'm thinking about. And that's kind of the best way to approach that type of a lick. Starting not repeated the same way twice anyway. And then we're gonna go to this. So that's just at the 8th fret there on the B, and some vibrato ball on it, and then he starts catching the octave below that, which is the open G, and then he bends that note with a pinch harmonic on the 8th fret there on the B. And really quickly from there, he goes into a quick little legato lick. So this is one of his symmetrical things again, which is going to be hammering 12 to 14 to 16. So play 12, hammer 14, 16 on the low E. Same thing on the A. Same thing on the D. Same thing on the G. Then you come back down, pull back off down to that 12, and it's a slight pause on that note. So we have this. And then we're going to go back down. We're going to play 16 on the D, pull off that 14 and 12, same shape, over to 16, 14, 12 on the A, and then you're going to grab that F sharp on the low E. Oops. Sorry. All right, and then we're up to here. So just kind of this. So that's going to be the 14th fret on the high E string, and then bending up to that note by bending up the 17th fret there on the B string. So you do that a few times. Then up, we got kind of like 2 whole steps. Release, pull off to 14, overdo 16 there on the G string. And then he does a series of he's kind of slowly bending the note up a little bit more, that 17th fret on the B. And he's muting it every single time, just kind of killing it when he gets to the top of each bend. And we kind of resolve it back down to the note. And then we're going to end this with just a kind of a standard E minor pentatonic kind of blues thing. So I'm not going to kind of detail this kind of, these licks right there, they're kind of, they are what they are. They're kind of off the cuff kind of blues licks. So you've done these a million times, I'm sure. So kind of a bend there at the 14th fret there on the G, and then roll on the 12 to the B to the high E, then come back down 15, 12 on the B. And then he kind of does a bend again into the 12th fret there on the B. And then bend again, and then pull off to the 12 on the G, over to 14 on the D. You're gonna just, the important thing here is to end on this the 12th fret there on the G with some vibrato. Kind of just something like that. Just. All right, so from here, he goes into, he kind of pulls off to the open string and does some bar dives and kind of whammy stuff on the open G string. And then we have a couple of more pinch harmonics. And it's kind of hard to tell exactly where these pinch harmonics are at on his guitar. But we can go with the 7th fret on the B, and then the 5th fret. And then we're gonna go into the end of the solo, which is just gonna be 2, 4, 5 on the low E, and then 2, 4 on the A. And then that takes us to this really, really cool section that they close the song out with, which I'll play through you real quick. It's gonna involve some little bit of fingerstyle stuff, and it's probably my favorite part of the song. Anyway, here we go. All right, so this has got some crazy stuff in it. Once again, not a lot of videos of him playing this, but you kind of he can kind of roll off the volume a little bit for the beginning of this section, and I'm just you can put the pick in your mouth or whatever. I'm kind of holding it here with my ring finger, but so you're going to start with these double stops here at the 4th fret on the G and the B. And kind of bend them down. He's probably using just one finger. Sometimes I like to use two. Get more control of the notes, but he's probably just using his ring finger across both notes. So we have this. You can pick this with your index in the middle. You pick them. Bend, release, and then you're going to pick just one time this time through at the 2nd fret there on the A strings for this. And then do that bend, release again. And then you're going to hit the A string twice there at the 2nd fret. So this. And then you're going to go. So that's back to that bend. And then back to just hitting them without the bend. And then a quick bend and release. Pull off to the double stops at the 2nd fret of the G and the B. Now you're going to pick the 4th fret on the D with your thumb. And then those double stops again at the 2nd fret twice. And then back to that 4th fret there on the D. So we have this. And then to start over again, real quick, we're gonna hit those double stops on the 2nd fret again, and then back to that 4th fret there on the D. Now here he starts doing it the same way each time. He goes. So it's kind of the beginning of it at least. So we do that bend. So after you do that, you're gonna hit that 2nd fret twice on the A, and then do that bend again, and then 2nd fret twice on the low E. So that's what's gonna stay consistent for the next 3 times with this. I like grabbing that low E with my thumb, or you can just do it like that. Now we have a different little ending here. So we have this quick little fill that ends it. So that bend and release of the 4s, pull off to the 2s, over to the 4s. So that's the same that we did before. But here we're gonna go right back to the 4s, pull off to the 2s, over to a 4 on the D with your thumb, back to the 2s, and then we're gonna do a little descending. 4-2 on the D and the A, so we have this. And then we go back to the same. So that was the same. The second half is the same as the first time we played it, but we're doing this on the first half. So we have this. We've seen all this before now. All right, and then the 4th time through, same beginning. And then we just had that little ending. Take the bends, then pick them. And then play the 2s. And then there's, he starts rolling the volume up. It sounds like he could probably just hammer along while he's rolling up the volume. I don't know, maybe he's picking it, but it's, we have those 2 4s, pulling off the 2s, over to 4 on the D, you can pick it this time, and then that same thing again. But now you go to 4-2 on the D. And then we're full throttle, you can pick now, and we have the volume all the way up, and we have that section. So that's just playing the. So just with those 4s, then the 2, over to the 4 on the D, again, and then we had that little pull off to 4 on the D, then 2s a couple times. So it's just that kind of pattern. Once again, those 2s back to the 4 on the D, and then there's a. So it's kind of that, kind of mute those 4s a few times. You can do kind of downstrokes might help that mute to come out. So we had this the 4 muted, and then 2, and then hit the 2s again, and back to the 4. And then back to the muted 4s, back to the 2s, and then you just hit the 4 twice to end it. So with this. And then into that lick that we did before going into the first solo. Kind of the same thing. Those kind of bend and release at the 4 and the 2 and the G with the vibrato. And then back to the. I basically do that pattern twice. And then he does one of his symmetrical licks again. And then here, it kind of just, it's just 13, 14, 16 on the start of the low E, and then the A, then the D. And when he gets to the G string, he's going to repeat it twice. So we have this. Go ahead. And then 13, 14, 16 on the B. And then it kind of sounds like he goes up and just catches that 17 real quick and slides to, and he pulls off to 14. But you can just kind of do it like, kind of 14, 17, pull back at 14. But so these types of licks, when Eddie does them, they only work when they're really, really fast. And then we're back to the. Same lick as before, and then back to start again. And that's just kind of doing this tremolo picking thing on the second fret of the G, and then resolving it to the 4th fret on the D a few times, and then back. That is kind of fading out, so you can't really tell anything's going on. Anyway, so that is, you kind of get that section together. It's really good to get it down by ear, and then you can kind of get everything through it pretty well. But it's kind of a lot of the same thing repeated, just little fills thrown in there. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun to play once you get it underneath your fingers. And I will see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.